Hello, Bay Ridge. Welcome to another edition of After Hours. Everything has been shifting and changing. In fact, at one point, Stephanie had already recorded a different After Hours, but kind of got overtaken by events because of everything going on with the coronavirus, COVID-19, and the new regulations coming down from the governor. And so I want to talk about being the church during social distancing, as it's called, where we're not all supposed to congregate and get together. And how do we do that? You may not be aware, but the CDC called last night for no groups of 50 people or more for the next 8 weeks. Our governor has already come out and extended things out so that restaurants and bars are shut down, gyms, no religious gatherings of greater than 50 people. And so how are we going to be the church during this time, especially if it's going to spin out to possibly the middle of May, is as long as this might go, and we'll have to see how it'd be after that. How are we going to do that? Well, we're trying to really serve everyone during this time. We're trying to think ahead as the staff and the church leadership and look for how we can continue to serve and work and do this. And I want to take a moment just to remind us of who we are. We are a church that says we love, connect, serve, reach. And so how are we going to do that during this time? Well, we're going to love, connect, serve, reach. We may have to change the format in which we do it, but we're still having the same goal. So what does that look like? Well, first, love. This is when we gather together on Sundays. Obviously, we can't come in together. We're going to be putting information and services out just as we did this week. I again want to give a big shout out of thanks to all the people that are involved in doing that. Most of you are able just to sit home on Sundays and watch, but there's a whole group of people. The worship team coming together, spending time and making it happen. Dave Trossel's put in a lot of work on the audio, getting that even improved, along with Jim Lenahan working with him. Tony Marsh and Stephanie have to do a massive amount of videoing and working on things afterwards and getting that up there. Jer's been helping to think through ahead of schedule and ahead of time what it is we're trying to do and how we're going to serve. So I want to thank them for doing it. And here's how you can say thanks to everyone for doing it. And that is that as we continue to work and put out these materials and do things, both written and video, we want to encourage you, join in and worship each Sunday. It's critical. This is not 2 months off where I just go off and I've got a free day on Sunday and let's go to the park or let's go sailing. We gather together to worship as the people of God. It's going to look different of necessity during this period of time. So you're going to be gathering there in your own home. But what we want to encourage you to do is actually do it. And that doesn't mean to have it kind of playing in the background while you're off doing something else. It means that when there's singing, that you are actually joining in and singing and worshiping. When there is praying, you are actually joining in and praying. When we have someone teaching, that you are really giving it attention and trying to let God's word penetrate. This is absolutely critical. You and I would not go 8 weeks without eating and drinking. We can no more go 8 weeks without gathering in some sense for worship, for hearing and receiving God's word, for praying together, for singing. It's essential that we do this. And I want to encourage also for the parents. It is critical that you take this time with your children. It actually is going to give you more time on the Sundays. You're not having to get up and get everybody dressed and get in here and there's a time afterwards. In less time than what you normally would spend on a Sunday, you can not only participate in worship yourself, but then you can work with the children with the materials we've given them and then spread that out throughout the week. Use this time to reinforce the principles that I've always encouraged us to do, which is families are to be the primary movers of discipleship. We are working and doing so. Use this time to reset and to do that. Secondly, we not only love, we connect. This is going to be an even bigger challenge because we can't quite do that the same way we can put out. We put out excellent content yesterday morning or a couple days ago for our Sunday worship. Doing the connect groups is going to be a little bit more challenging. The elders are going to be calling people in their shepherding groups. We're going to be redoubling our efforts to really try and keep in contact with people. We're encouraging connect group leaders to do the same thing. But I want to encourage and challenge every one of us in BRCC. Pick up the phone and call somebody. Send a text out. check in on folks that are in your Connect group, or folks that you serve with, or folks that you just know and are friends with. Reach out. Don't assume people are in contact, because as we move along, many people are having to move to teleworking. I won't even be surprised if they basically tell us all, stay in your home and don't go outside. But given the fact that we have technology, we can use it to our advantage during this time, but it only works if you and I actually pick up the phone, actually reach out to someone. So reach out to keep the connections going. We're going to be looking into other ways that we can try and serve, even if we can't gather as Connect groups, or if some of our Connect groups can't gather. We're looking at ways to do that, but the most important thing is pick up the phone and give somebody a call. Thirdly, we serve. This is related back to what we're talking about connecting. When you're talking with someone, we may have some folks who, for health reasons, can't even really get out and do some essential shopping they need, or get to the store or do something. We might be able to go and pick it up for them and then come over and drop it off at the house. There may be ways that as we go through, some folks are not going to be able to continue working as they did. They might take a financial hit. Maybe we can serve one another financially, or in some practical way of something that's going on. Somebody's car is giving them trouble and they can't get it into their mechanic because they're struggling financially. Well, maybe we can jump in and try and help. So look for ways to serve one another. And then finally, reach. One of the big things that we can do right now is some of your neighbors or your family members who are not believers, or friends or people that you normally work with, they may start increasingly experiencing fear or anger or something else during that time. That's an opportunity for you and me to reach out to them with the good news of the gospel. That's an opportunity for us to look for ways to serve them by reaching them with the gospel and help pointing them to Christ. And we can also all be praying. Pray for our leaders during this time. Pray for BRCC and all the people who are in our congregation. Pray for the spread of the gospel here in Annapolis and around the world, because this is going on. It's even more strict in places like Italy right now. Pray that God would use this to cause people to focus on that which is eternal, and that this would actually be used to work to good rather than evil. I just want to remind us, friends, God is on mission. He has not hit the pause button on being on mission, and we at BRCC are not going to hit the pause button either. We don't want to just put ourselves circling around during this 8 weeks. Let's move forward in mission so that when the time comes that we can gather again, we are in a stronger place than when this all began. Let's stay on mission together with Him. Friends, I love you, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we walk through this together, and that it will be one of Bay Ridge's finest hours. Have a great week, and keep your eyes open. We'll be putting out more content. God bless.